Thanks very much, Tracy, and good morning everyone. And you've already managed to overcome your first obstacle, and that was find your way through Motherwell this morning. Not only in the rain, but all the roadworks underway. As Tracy said, I'm Isabelle Boyd. I'm Assistant Chief Executive, Education, Youth and Communities. I suppose in old language, I'm kind of de facto the Director of Education here in North Lanarkshire. It's a job that I love, it's a job I take really seriously, and I couldn't possibly have let today's event go by without having an opportunity to come to speak to you all. It's wonderful standing here on the stage in Motherwell Theatre, here as part of the Concert Hall Civic Centre, and look out at over 200 bright, shining, eager faces, all desperate for tomorrow to get into your school, and hopefully, and I'm sure, even more desperate come Thursday morning to welcome through your door your charges for the year. The programme that's set out for you, it kind of struck me over the weekend as I was kind of thinking, what is it I really wanted to say to you this morning? And I was struck by the programme for the day. Looks very good. It'll be really useful, really helpful. It talks about practical issues. You'll hear from colleagues, from personnel, from HR about what to do in circumstances, how to get in touch with people. You'll hear again from Tracy and Andrea as our probationer support officers within the education service and how they will support you throughout the year. You'll hear about other practical things. You'll hear from the General Teaching Council about the standards, about the code of conduct, all those important practical things. And this afternoon, you'll have a great opportunity to engage with some of the just finished probationers, as we call them, those who were here last year, had a very successful probation year in North Lanarkshire, and they're joining you this afternoon to give you their take on what should be a fine year. So I actually thought I wanted to do just something a bit more personal and a bit more reflective. I've been in education my entire adult working life. I have done all the jobs, from class teacher all the way through now to Assistant Chief Executive. It has been a roller coaster ride. There have been times when it has been the best of times, and as Dickens, I'll just misquote him, and indeed the worst of times. But through it all, there's something that keeps you going. And sometimes I think it's something maybe we've lost, or we no longer think it, I don't know, PC to talk about. But teaching is a vocation. And I think in all that tied up in the practicalities and the standards and the code of conduct, yes, they're values-based, but teaching is a vocation. You have to come into teaching, come into education, particularly in a school-based job, knowing and understanding the responsibility that you have. You are responsible for other people's children. A huge responsibility, but also brings with it huge rewards. There are a number of people I've encountered across my career, sometimes both in person, people I've worked alongside, people I've worked with, but also people that I've met in various circumstances, maybe at a conference, or people that I have read. I can never, ever overemphasise to you the importance of continuing to read in terms of your professional development. You'll do lots of really good work here in North Lanarkshire, part of your probation year, looking at your professional inquiry. All of that's important. Please don't let it end at the end of your probation year. You need to continue to refresh, you need to continue to grow, and you do that by engaging with peers, engaging with others, and through professional reading. Three of the things I wanted to share with you this morning that kind of sum up for me, I suppose in many ways, teaching as the vocation, come from people I've encountered either in the flesh or in the written word or listened to them from a platform. And one of them is a live well out on the conference circuit. If you ever get the chance to hear Sir John Jones, I recommend him to you. He's I nearly said a Liverpudlian, he wouldn't thank me. I think he considers himself to be an Evertonian, but he is lively, he's been a head teacher, and he talks about education with a passion. And of the many things he said that were worth listening to, the one that stuck with me and the one I want to share with you is this. You, as the teacher, decide what kind of day that child is going to have. You set the tone, you set the direction. So that child who comes into your class late or on time, but you think ill-prepared, you start that child's day with a snarl, with heaven forfend, a shout. You've set the tone for that day. So as the teacher, we decide what kind of day that child is going to have. It's really powerful, really important. For many of you, the children in your class, school will be the best thing in their day. School will be the place where they feel safe because there are boundaries. School will be the place they feel safe because there are adults who engage with them, who are interested in their points of view, who are interested in their progress. For that one child in your class, if that's the case, you have the responsibility, huge, to make sure that that child gets off to the best start in that day. And when I talk about school and education, education should be a leveller. We talk lots just now in Scotland, and particularly here in North Lanarkshire, about the impact of poverty on attainment. It's real. You can look at the statistics and see the evidence, and it's real, and you'll experience that in your classroom. But here in North Lanarkshire, in your school, actually you're unlikely to have it stare you in the face because of the pride that our parents and our carers and our communities have in their children. Quite often it's masked. So it's your responsibility to know the child in your class, to know each and every one of them, and to find the way to help that child to make progress. So, Sir John Jones, you decide what kind of day that child is going to have. And the second thing I wanted to share with you is from a Canadian educator called Avis Glaze. Avis Glaze sometimes comes, speaks in Scotland, but not regularly. She is coming, I think, later this year. I think it's October. She's coming to an international conference. Avis Glaze is from a Jamaican background. She's probably about maybe twice my height. She is larger than life, Jamaican background, but living in Canada for most of her life. And she says two things. One of the things she says, that to be a really successful teacher, this takes me back to vocation, to be a really successful teacher, you have to bring your whole self every day. Being a teacher, it's not a cloak you put on at the door and take off on your way back out, because there's the real you and the work you. You have to bring your whole self every day. You have to bring your values. You have to bring your sense of justice, respect, integrity, those key core values. They are who you are. You bring them with you every day. And I suppose in my kind of, not Jamaican, born Canadian, but in a kind of just straightforward Coatbridge way, I would kind of describe that as being, you treat the children in front of you the way you would want your children to be treated. I have worked, once I can think of, with a colleague who had his persona in the school and obviously a different standard elsewhere. As a peer, I didn't like how he treated his classes. I didn't like the shouting that I heard through the walls. But I also heard him in the staff room on the phone to his kids' school complaining about the teacher. Bring your whole self every day. If what you're delivering isn't good enough, you wouldn't be happy with someone doing that for your child, your niece, your nephew, your grandchildren, how they would have treated you if you were in that class when you were a youngster. It isn't good enough. So bring your whole self every day. The second thing from Avis that I must admit, not even me, and I am brave, I've never had the courage to use, is Avis told me a story one day when I was having lunch with her, and she was telling me about a conference that she'd had with a group of teachers in Ontario, and they were complaining about the behaviour of the children in the class. One teacher in particular was complaining about that class are terrible, 2K, I hate getting them, they're really bad behaved. And she said, so I just said to her, was your lesson worthy of their good behaviour? Now, I've never been brave enough to have that kind of conversation or say that to someone. But there is a nugget in there about that kind of sense of you setting the tone, you setting the direction, you bringing your whole self, and what's, what is actually not just good enough, but excellence in the classroom. Those are the kind of things I wanted to share with you this morning. I'm also a great believer in, I suppose some people would call it coincidence, some people would call it divine intervention, some people would just call it just good old-fashioned luck. But last night, as I was flicking through Twitter, and I came across a tweet and a poster that I just thought, that's just perfect for tomorrow. And I'm going to finish with this. And it's called The First Few Minutes. Outstanding behaviour management starts at the door of your classroom with an Oscar-winning performance. High energy, infectious, irresistible character who interests, provokes and engages. The first few minutes are critical. Expend some energy in your delivery. Plan and rehearse it well. Your performance as a teacher is a series of brilliant cameo roles. Short bursts of highly engaging performance designed to inject eagerness into every learner. Your enthusiasm must be infectious and your direction unstoppable. In the first 5 minutes, you are meeting, greeting, smiling, shaking hands, being pleased to see them, handing out responsibilities, making learners feel not just important, but irreplaceable. Thank goodness you've arrived. Your timekeeping is just excellent. Your negotiating is what we need in this group. Your skills are what's needed over there. Catch learners following the routine that you set and reinforce that. That's the way to success. So learners who are doing the right thing are deliberately acknowledged first. Catch them doing good. Catch them doing the right thing rather than spending the time on the one or the two that isn't failing to follow what you've said. Acknowledge those first who are actually taking on the responsibilities. Learners need to feel valued, important, curious and eager. And it's your performance that breaks them out of their breakfast, breaks them out of their journey, breaks them out of the traffic they were stuck in, breaks them out of what I'm going to do tonight, and changes their mindset so they're ready for learning. You were born to make a difference. You will make a difference here in North Lanarkshire, and I'm delighted to be working with you. And the last thing down here, it says, be brilliant, and I know you will. Thank you very much.